No.
Don't mind me, I'm paranoid, okay? I can't stand that.
Oh.
I think you turn it on. Let us know when we're on. We are on. Okay. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For those who wish to participate, please remain standing as we observe a moment of silence to ask for the direction and blessings of our deliberations towards the veteran of Jackson. Amen. Okay, welcome everyone to our right date, regular meeting, Monday, May 4th, 2020, the meeting of the mayor and the Board of Aldermen of the city of Jackson. So we're all together again after having streaming meetings, but we still are streaming this on YouTube. So everyone that's not here or any attendees that did not want to come in person could attend our meeting and observe it. So that will go on. I would now entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. We've adopted our agenda for this evening. I now entertain a motion to approve the minutes of our last regular scheduled meeting of April 20th, 2020.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Our minutes are approved. I now entertain a motion to approve the monthly bills of the city of Jackson.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. We'll pay our monthly bills for last month. Alderman Reiminger from the Power, Light, and Water Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to consider a resolution accepting voluntary annexation petition for the property address as 357 Timber Lane and set a public hearing for Monday, June the 1st, 2020 at 6 p.m. As submitted by Todd Johnson and Casey Joe Sparkman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted.
Council, do you have a bill proposing an ordinance authorizing an annexation agreement with Todd Johnson and Casey Joe Sparkman relative to the voluntary annexation of 357 Timber Lane? By reference, if you would, please.
Yes, sir. An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Jackson, Missouri to execute an annexation agreement by and between the city of Jackson, Missouri and Todd Johnson and Casey Joe Sparkman of Jackson, Missouri relative to the voluntary annexation of 357 Timber Lane. Further, said ordinance shall authorize and direct the city clerk to attest the signature of the mayor. The rest by reference.
Make a motion to accept the bill as read.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Second reading.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Jackson, Missouri to execute an annexation agreement by and between the city of Jackson, Missouri and Todd Johnson and Casey Joe Sparkman of Jackson, Missouri relative to the voluntary annexation of 357 Timber Lane. Further, said ordinance shall authorize and direct the city clerk to attest the signature of the mayor. The rest are reference.
Same motion.
Same second.
Roll call, please.
Hicks.
Aye.
Cunningham.
Aye.
Baker.
Aye.
Reisinger.
Aye.
Wiley.
Aye.
Kimball.
Aye.
Sander.
Aye.
Young.
Aye.
The bill passes.
Mayor, that's all Fire and Light has for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Lyman. Okay, Alderman Cunningham from the Street, Sewer, and Cemetery Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve a matching expenditure not to exceed $6,000 relative to the 2020 Independence Day celebration fireworks display.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
As I spoke at the staff meeting, this is part of a 2 or 3 year contract that we have made with the fireworks people. And I know this is the second year, so we will have fireworks. We're not real sure, and we'll discuss at a later time as far as the rest of the celebration goes. Hopefully we'll be able to do it all.
Okay, very good. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion passes.
That's all straight ahead, Mayor.
All right, fairly short agenda for us in our formal meeting. As far as go-rounds, just a couple things for me. The Jackson High School Agricultural Department is going to hold a plant sale on Saturday, May 9th from 10 a.m. to noon on South High Street. It'll be in front of the old Ross furniture store. Remember, they always sold plants at Jackson and Bloom, and we didn't have Jackson and Bloom, so they've been selling plants at the greenhouse, but they're going to try to come out and sell some plants on Saturday. So if you're interested in plants, they'll be on High Street on Saturday. 10 to noon, yes.
That's this Saturday?
This Saturday, yeah. Be right in front of Ross. We're going to block off a couple parking spots for them. City offices will close Monday, May 25th, and observing Memorial Day. We'll have a meeting before then, I believe. Yeah, we'll have another meeting before then. Election Day, again, another reminder, has been rescheduled and moved to Tuesday, June 2nd. I think that's all I have. Alderman Sander.
Nothing, Mayor, thank you.
Alderman Kimball.
Nothing, sir.
Alderwoman Wiley.
Just a thank you to Joan and anyone else that set us up this evening for our meeting. Thank you, Liza, whoever else helped us. So, it's nice.
Alderman Ryder.
I have nothing, sir. Thank you.
Alderman Baker.
Nothing, Mayor, thank you.
Alderman Cunningham.
Nothing. Thank you, Mayor.
Alderman, yeah.
I believe there will not be a Memorial Day ceremony. Municipal band has not been practicing, the Legion Honor Guard has not been practicing. At this point in time, I don't guess it's been officially canceled, but it probably will be.
Okay, yeah, there's some questions about that. Well, we have another meeting before that just for us, but I'm sure you guys are looking at that. We'll get the word out either way. Alderman Young.
Nothing, Mayor, thank you.
We'll say that this Friday, we have canceled the Jackson Community Outreach Board is not going to hold their
Car show Saturday.
car show
That's what I understood.
Friday, yeah.
Saturday.
Is it Saturday? Was it Saturday night? Yeah. Okay. So they canceled that, so we won't have our first one we already passed. This will be the second one. So we'll look at June for the Community Outreach Board as far as their drive-in that they normally have. City Attorney Ludwig.
Mayor, we being the city court of Jackson had a meeting on Friday. We're taking steps to reconvene court. It will be closed down for another week or two, but we hope to have our first court date in late May. I don't know the exact date, but if any of you have constituents or friends or family that have tickets or other business in front of the Jackson City Court, Wendy should be sending out notices in the next week or so, and everybody should be notified to come to court. And that should be back up and running this month. And then hopefully by the end of June, the court will be totally caught up. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. City Administrator Roach.
Yes, Mayor. I have 3 items for tonight's executive session, 2 contract issues and 1 matter of real estate.
Okay, thank you. No other business before this formal meeting. Since we do have an executive session, I entertain a motion to recess the study session.
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, nay. We are recessed to study session, and I'll turn it over to you, Jim.
All right, thank you. The first item for tonight's study session is a discussion regarding utility penalties and cutoffs. I think the board's been advised that the cutoffs of utilities has been suspended for the March billing and the April billing. And we have notified our customers that the May billing cutoffs will be suspended as well. Utility penalties have basically just been out there, kind of just hanging. The staff is recommending that the board, forgive or waive utility penalties for the month of March, April, and May. Let me tell you a little bit about what kind of money we're talking about. The March billing penalty total is $10,416. The April billing penalty total is $13,905. We don't know what May will be, but I can tell you last year, May's penalties were $7,458. I would assume that it'll be maybe double that this time, maybe 15, around 15,000. It's unknowable, but I would say based on the averages of 2019 for utility penalties per month, it was just under $10,000. So I would assume somewhere around 15,000 for May.
Have we done that before?
We've never done that, but I'm aware of. So I throw that out for consideration in light of the COVID issue, particularly with people being able to work or not work or generate income or that kind of thing. Now, I'm not suggesting that we waive the bill. The base bill is still out there, of course, but the penalty portion, I think, would be a nice gesture on the city's behalf to waive. Any thoughts or directions?
I got a call, Jim, from a customer and business, and I don't have any problem with doing this especially with the staff's recommendation for 3 months, but I don't think past that I would be for that. But I think it is a nice gesture on our part. We're not waiving their bill in any way. They still have to pay.
Correct.
Waiving any penalty, I think, is a good thing for us to do.
Jim,
Yeah.
I had also gotten a call from a constituent, and they had no problem paying the bill, but the penalty, they were having a little bit of a problem with this one.
Okay.
And I think it would be reasonable in that situation.
Are some of these penalties compounded?
They are. They do compound.
I didn't get a call, but I thought about it. I think it's, as Paul said, it's a good gesture on our part. Heck of it is, it's the same old people, but there's probably some that are in dire straits, and I think it's a good gesture. I'm in favor.
I'm in favor of it.
I think it'll speak well. And again, penalties, we have waived cutoffs, so, there are people that are certainly not going to cut anybody off during this time, so I think it goes together. I'm assuming soon we'll have to go through the cutoff procedure again, back once thing. And I think it gives it also, for those who are waiting on a stimulus check, hopefully they'll come in and pay when they do get that, because those are only running about 50% of those being paid, but hopefully people will use that money or their unemployment money to come in and pay their base bill, so they don't let that continue to grow higher.
One thing too, you mentioned too, Jim, I think it's important to reiterate that people that have come in and paid their bill with a penalty gets credit for that.
Yes, sir. Yes. I would suggest that we would have a motion the next regular meeting to memorialize this officially. I would also suggest that, of course, we don't know what the future is going to bring anymore, it seems like, but if all things stay considerably the same as what they are now, that we would get back in the rotation of cutoffs and applying penalties with a June billing. Unless something drastically changes, that would be the recommendation. So, okay. Thank you. The second item for study session is COVID-19 response plan update. The staff sent out a news release, and we included a hard copy in the packet, basically that outlines the reopening plan for city facilities. Of course, City Hall open today. Some of the park and recreation features were open to the public, particularly the Civic Center was open today for public use with constraints. A couple more of the park restrooms in Brookside and Litz Park were open for use that had been closed. So we have 4 restrooms in the parks open right now. The recycling center open today, and I hear it was busy, as you can imagine. And the police and fire lobby of the combined police fire facility was open today as well. And some other smaller issues were open, and it's listed in the packet. I would point out that since Wednesday of last week, the 29th, through today, the cases of COVID-19 reported in Cape County have totaled 49 and have held at 49. So that's, I think, good news. And out of that 49, 33 have recovered as of this morning anyway. I don't know if they jumped it to 34. Did they up it to 34? So that's good news. Hope it holds. Any questions or comments on city's situation with respect to the COVID issue?
We continue to have our 8:30 meetings in the morning, among the county, different people on the emergency task force. Those are going well.
Yep.
Discussions now about doing more testing to understand more about the population and what that means, and maybe just going out and testing general public. But those are the discussions that they're going through now as kind of next steps. And certainly the county put out a good, from the health department, a good overview of what May means as far as restaurants and mass gatherings and churches and so forth, guidance in that. It's a good guidance package. If you go online on the county's line, or maybe on our, I don't know if we put it on ours, Rodney, or not, but it's on our website. Also good information about everything to do with the May position that we're in phase 1, I guess.
Transition.
Yeah. So that's good.
Okay. Item 3 on tonight's study session is a update on the police station building project. George is here to, is this your final presentation?
We'll probably,
Okay.
well, one of the things I'll present tonight will carry over till the next meeting. Okay, I guess I'll start with, as of April the 20th, we issued an occupancy permit for the new station, which would be defined and as under the contract as substantially complete. Just so you know, at the end of March, we had been, the billings went up to 6.4, a little over 6.4 million. We've got basically $1 million bill for the month of March. So now the police station is using the station partially, and they're in the process of moving in. And I don't know how that process will go with everything else that's going on, but it is theirs to use. And this won't change the final. Right now, we're not changing the final contract completion date of May 28th. But that'll be just a matter of processing final bill. In fact, there's just a little over $81,000 is what's left in the project to be billed by the contractor. No, that's just a quick update. The formal business of tonight, I wanted to introduce a draft of a change order for the project. The change order has 2 pieces. We did not spend all the money in the allowance. The allowance spent out of $450,000. We spent $424,716.87. We did have some change order items. There were 5 total. Their total was $25,108.92. So overall, the change order is for $174.21 credit to the project, which will make the final contract price $6,499,825.79.
So it's a change order and a decrease?
Yeah, it's like decrease.
You make
I
me
can't
happy.
even comment on it then.
You just
If I guess if you want, we can break it into 2 pieces and we can talk about the credit, and you can talk when we get.
Well, you know, someone really, really had a sharp pencil. Is that right?
That's 174.21.
Wow.
So we'll be looking for formal approval at the next meeting. That will allow for the final billing. There are some what they call punch list items that are still outstanding, and we'll get most of those resolved. There is the possibility there may be 1 or 2 items that haven't been delivered, but I'm going to probably recommend that they're paid for. That the project be closed out, because there's nothing outstanding that requires installation. Everything that isn't table and chairs and I think a fentanyl test cabinet that's basically sits on a table and plugs into the wall. So that's it. You've got a new police station then.
Beautiful place.
Thanks, George. Good job.
As soon, when time is proper, we'll have a ribbon cutting and opening and so forth when we can do it right. But in the meantime, please start using it. Looks good, Scott?
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay.
Thanks, Jordan.
Okay. Item 4 is a update on the roundabout project at East Main Street and Shawnee Boulevard. Clint Brown will give that. And since he'll have the floor, he'll do item 5, underground facilities located and marking services program bid tabulation as well.
Can you guys see that over there? See, is that okay with us last time? Okay. First of all, you talked about a sharp pencil, and that was George's sharp pencil. He's not here, but he did a really good job with the project and keeping it on budget. So just kudos to him first. I'll talk about the roundabout here a little bit. What we've completed so far at the roundabout is the water line relocation. Our goal was to locate all the utilities from outside of the roundabout. There's a little nuance in there, but for the most part, we located all the utilities outside the roundabout. So the water line's done. We're about 60% way through of our sanitary sewer relocation. Our stormwater conveyance, which is the new stormwater inlets, is about 50% done. They have the boxes in, but they have some pipes, underground pipe that they have to put in yet. Concrete improvements is at 60%. What you can actually see is on the roundabout is 50% done because they have the whole north half done, but they also had that big parking lot for the apartment complex that they had to do it well, and they did that right at the beginning of the project. And then their seating too is another major thought. There was a lot of seating on this project, and if you drive out there on the northeast side, you can see that they did a lot of the seating and stuff around there where they put the water line in. So yet to be completed is the rest of the sanitary sewer, specifically in the southwest quadrant where they're working now. If you drove out there today, they've shifted traffic control around and they're working on the southwest quadrant. The concrete, obviously, on the second half of the roundabout, on the south half of the roundabout, and then the rest of the stormwater conveyance there. So I pulled a George and I did an S-curve to show everybody where we're at on the project. And my S-curve is a little bit different than George's because it's on a shorter span of time. And I also tried to account for the winter months in there with the payments. So it's more of a, not quite as an S as George's was. So this was the estimated based on the billing. This is the actual S-curve where they're at now. That red line in there is the actual S-curve. And this is all based on their billing. You can see that over March, they dropped a little bit. They were ahead. They dropped a little bit with the COVID-19. And then if we look at a projected S-curve, which is the dotted line there, based on, I have not received their billing for the month of April, but they did a lot of that concrete work out there. So they're going to jump, the projection is to jump back above that. And then based on their submitted schedule, the schedule they submitted to me, they look to gain ground over the next month and then complete by the beginning of July. They do have some weather delays, some weather days that they are going to get awarded because they had the not so good weather at the beginning of the project. We had some AT&T and gas line issues that could amount to up to 7 days on the project. So the actual deadline could be extended back to maybe mid-July. But I talked to Randy Loppe, who's with Loppe Cement, and he really wants to finish by July 1st, and he thinks that he's on track to finish by July 1st, pending no unforeseen circumstances. So, like I said, if you went out there today, we issued this in a staff release last week, the new traffic control plan. Obviously, we got the top half done, and they're working in that red area there, that southwest quadrant. Once they get done with that, we'll move over to the southeast quadrant, and then we'll get a full roundabout. So I also got some pictures here. We have one looking east and one looking west. It's a lot of concrete. You don't think so from an aerial view, but if you're out there standing on it, it's a lot of concrete. Looking north, and then the apartment parking lot that they got done. And then the concrete stamp detail. It's a really nice concrete finish on the roundabout. We opted for this pretty brick stamp here, and it's got some white and black undertones to it. It looks really nice. So that's all I have. The mayor, do you want to mention something about the landscape in the middle?
If you remember, I don't know how long ago, 2 or 3 months ago, Jim Limbaugh from Montgomery Bank came in and proposed adopting the roundabout, proposed a flagpole, but he wanted to go back and look at cost and so forth. So Clint and I met him out there this week sometime, and they okayed putting a flagpole, landscaping, rocks, and taking care of that for us for 4 years. So we'll get that Adopt the Street program in. They get 3 signs, if you remember that, according to our off-site sign size that they can put up there. So looks good, coast-to-coast sign. It's going to put up the flagpole. It'll be 25 feet, I think, tall flagpole. That's what Don was out there as well, Shooty, and that's 25 feet sitting in the middle won't get anything, or the flag won't hit any of our electrical lines around there and so forth. So if there's a problem. So they're proceeding on, and hopefully they'll start working towards the end of this project so that when we open it up, we can have a nice flag and flowers and everything look good there. All that.
I have.
Go ahead.
The parking lot for the apartment building,
Mhm.
I never could really figure out what you were saying that they were going to do there, but it turned out nice.
Yeah.
I was really pleased with the way that looks. On the other hand, why are we giving those guys bad weather days when they don't work on good weather days?
The good weather days are accounted for in the total calculation. So if there is a day that it's determined that they could have worked and they didn't work, it does get counted against them. But if there is a weather day, according to the
So you're
contract,
tracking that?
our inspector is, yes.
Okay, all right, that's all I want to hear.
Been a good project.
I'm sorry.
It's been a good project.
It has been a very good project so far. It's been,
They've been doing our inspection and.
it's been
design.
Cochran Engineering, who did the design, has been doing the inspection for us, and it's been going very smooth so far.
It's really taking shape. It's really, that's good right now.
Now we're gonna have 2 roundabouts. So
Yeah.
Jackson, you just can't say, go to the roundabout. Now you got to go to the roundabout.
It used to be the stoplight.
Yeah. I'll move on to number 5 while I'm up here. This is the underground facilities locating and marking services, which is just the locates. The way that it works is whenever you do dig right or one call before you dig, that sort of thing. The city is mandated by the state to locate their utilities because we're a utility service provider, and we opted out. We give that to a third party to locate for us as opposed to doing it ourselves. And so originally we have a contractor right now, but it's been well over a decade since we have bid this service out, since we have looked at anybody else. And before, there was no one else in our area that was capable of doing this work. And now there's a couple different options that we have in our area to do this work and to actually bid out a contract that's more on city terms as opposed to the contractor's terms. So we put together a contract and we bid it out, and we received the bids back in, and we had 3 contractors give us bids back, and we did it based on an estimated monthly cost, as opposed to a lump sum or a definite amount. We did it off a monthly cost, and our low bidder was Precise Target Locating out of Cape Girardeau. And all of the foremen and public works reviewed the bids, reviewed their qualification statements, because we also took qualification statements from them. And based on their recommendation, they would like to see Precise Target Locating be awarded the contract. And so the next time I will be bringing a contract for award to Precise Target Locating, who will take over the locating services for us. The
What was
water
the cost part of this?
The cost was right around that 950 number. That's kind of the estimate that we had used, and that's per month. The bottom number, the 7,950.
Is this an annual contract or is it multi-annual?
This will be multi-years. It's a 3-year contract with options for a 4th and a 5th, I believe.
At a renegotiated price?
Yeah, so there's stipulations in there
So it's
about,
3 years?
it's 3 years.
So we'll use this company, a private individual or company that can use anybody? How does that work when?
Yeah.
If I want to dig in my yard, I can just call.
Well, if you as a resident of the city of Jackson calls one call, this company will come out and locate our utilities that are on your property.
Okay.
Liberty Gas goes and locates their own. AT&T has a third party that comes and locates theirs.
Okay.
This is just locating our utilities, our electric, water, sewer.
So as a resident, you still call first call, then they call them, and that takes care of us.
Yeah. Yeah, we just go to this third party service. So. Okay. Thank you.
Item 6 on study session is a Notify Right Now app. Mayor, you want to speak to it first?
Yes, I do, and I've got a handout if you don't mind, Jim. My apologies, I didn't get this in the packet, or you would have been in your packet. How many of you have apps on your phone? You all have apps, right? Okay. This is a proposal or possibility to look at having a Jackson, Missouri app available to our residents on your iPhone. All right? So let me just kind of give you a background of what happened. A few weeks ago, I got a call from the Delaporte and Associates consulting firm, who I used when I was at Bausch & Lomb for many years. They did team building for me, training, and then they really specialized in customer service. So I worked for them. So, and I actually, Jason Delaporte gave me a call saying he had developed an app out of his business to offer to all his customers, which he's doing now, some of it driven by the COVID customers. And his customers are still Bausch & Lomb and many different major companies, not municipalities. He doesn't deal with them. And actually, Jason is the son of that was the owner that I dealt with at Delaporte and Associates, and Carrie had passed away several years ago. So Jason really called me up and said, "I've got this app. I'd really like a city to use it." And we talk occasionally, and so I'd really like the city of Jackson to have the opportunity to use this app. So out of that, I really said, well, let me think about it. Let me get Joan and Rodney involved. We set up a call, and I said, well, we want to talk about developing that. He went ahead and developed the app and gave it to us and put it on our phone. And I didn't bring my phone in here. I'd show what it looks like on a phone. But it's an app like any others. It's got which you would basically go into, and we could show post just like you do on Facebook. You know, where Rodney right now puts posts on Facebooks on a regular basis, and people can come in and look at them. You can also put on what else you got there? I can't read it.
For example, he put on a post about recycling center.
Yeah.
And talks about COVID-19. You can post to other websites, to Facebook, or directly you can also put videos. For example, here's the video from the breakfast show. And if we go over to that, see where we're at on this. We'll have to get through the advertisement for them. But 5 minutes into the breakfast show, the mayor. Should be able to skip over here. What was that, 5 minutes and 20 seconds, Rodney? Is that what you said?
Today, that means businesses can reopen and social activities can start back up. That's all part of Governor Parsons' first phase of the Show Me Strong recovery plan. The goal, get Missourians to a new normal. But here's the basic guidelines. People can return to doing things they would normally do. That's as long as you can stay 6 feet away from each other. Now, there are no limitations on social gatherings as long as necessary precautions are taken and people can still socially distance. We also encourage you to stay home if you're sick and continue to practice some good hygiene. So what does that mean for local businesses? Isabel Hanson is in Cape Grove to talk with area leaders. She joins us live at the list.
Yes, Justin, I'm here with Dwayne Haas, the mayor of Jackson. And what should we expect today in Jackson? What's reopening and starting to get back to normal today?
Well, I think you'll see a gradual reopening of some of our businesses in Jackson.
Get the idea, when you get up at 6 o'clock, they'll put you on the news.
I'm glad it was you.
So then you also, so you get posts, you can put videos up, you can put an event calendar up. I don't have my app where I go through. Can you show what the list of things you can put on it?
Well, we have,
That little menu item, there you go.
Do you have to have a Facebook account to read the Facebook posts? Because my dad doesn't have Facebook, but he wouldn't mind reading the
No.
posts. You know.
This basically will put up what we post, okay?
Yeah.
And we'll post videos, we'll post our own post. What it does not do, it does not allow the consumer to talk back to us. This is purely a post, this is an outreach. Now, part of what we can do is you can notify people, like if we have a utility outage or a boil water order, we can actually send that out and it'll be in your phone saying, go to your Jackson app, you have a notification, okay? So it can be, what we call push out. It can be used as a push out app if you want to. Now, that's up to the person with the phone too. If you don't want to have a notification, you just turn it off, okay? But some people don't like notifications, so it's an option of notify or not notify. Right? So we'd have things like you could put billing information, utility outage, road closures, events, anything. We had video, public service. He put like, there's a couple videos on there, how to wash your hands if you want to do that. So anything of a service idea. But basically, right, Rodney handles our website now and putting things on Facebook. My interest in this was mainly to have another possible medium to talk to people without using Facebook. I think Facebook's getting clogged up. A lot of people doesn't use Facebook. And especially when you skew towards young people, but they'll take their phone and get an app and look at it. So that's the premise of looking at this. What my proposal would be is just to test this for a couple weeks with the Board of Aldermen, the boards that we have that are members, planning and zoning, park, and so forth, our own employees for a couple weeks to see, is this of interest to our consumers? Is this a good way to reach out to people? If the test looks, and we'll either the next meeting or the next meeting, we'll come back and talk about the test. Then we can talk about whether we want to enter a contract with Delaporte to do this over a year. He does own the software, so we have a software agreement, which Tom has looked at. He's agreed to Tom's question about it, the changes that he wanted. Now that there is a cost to this going onwards, the cost would be at our level, if we got up to 6,000 people with this app on their phones. And I don't know if that's how many Facebook users we have. And we pushed out 4 times a month, where we went aggressively and say, yeah, this is happening. If we did that 4 times a month, it'll cost us about $400 a month, or $5,000 a year. And that cost really is paying Apple. Apple phones you have to pay to push out to. Android charges nothing. So we have to pay Delaporte because they then pay Apple the charges that we would do when we do a notification. So that's your ongoing cost that you have, is the notification. No charge for the software. He's done that work and he's happy to do that for us. If we did go out and decide to do this, we would need to bid it at $5,000 a level. I'd want to go out and say, does anybody else want to do this for us if we're interested in having an app? And then we'd have to go through the bid process to see if somebody would want to develop an app and what they would charge us per month for us to have. So
Other than the notification, what would be different with comparing it to the City of Jackson website?
well, it would probably, looks wise, we'd be very, very narrow. Can you go up to the menu? Can't see that. I mean, you don't have that whole page. Oh, yeah, there it is.
The whole screen is.
You'd see post this. We wouldn't load it up with all the stuff we put on a website, I guess. So it would look like that, and it'd be mostly to find out what current information is, what your post. If you want to watch a video, you can link to anything that's on our website. If you want to put planning and zoning wants to put information on how to get a whatever it would be, dig right. We want to have how do you get dig right? We could we could put that in.
Okay, well, what's the difference other than the notification that can be on here than our City of Jackson website?
That is the big difference.
The
The fact
notification.
that you can push out a notification to a cell phone. These are geared towards a phone. You can see by the layout of the content. But it's basically you're linking to, we could link to this from our website too, and vice versa. But the push notification is the added feature.
So when
You can actually send out a message to everyone that subscribes with their cell phone and say, we have an update. And
That's the big.
yes,
I compare it, I guess, more to Facebook than I would a website. Because there, like Ronnie puts, I don't know, every day, every other day, you probably post something on Facebook, just general information. You don't put those on our website. And, like, I don't know, but it may be opening this or something, more newsy stuff that we put out on this than more social media directed, but all the basic information would be on this app as well.
So your notifications here, you got, as a concept here, 4 notifications a month cost $400. Are they, each time you have a notification, is that another $100? Or is it $450 for the next 5th one, $600 for, is it, how's that work?
If you'd want to have a contract with more than 4, then it'd be a different contract. Yeah, you could end up, if you double that to 8, you probably end up, could be 8 or 10,000 a year, something like that. Yeah. The key to this is we're feeling, hey, 4 is enough for us. This isn't going to be something.
Is that the limit? We're going to try to make that limit.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I mean, we can cut it back and it would be less,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Okay.
we picked one of
You got my questions. Yeah. Good.
So, thoughts? okay to try out a test?
Yes.
We'll see. We may do it 2 weeks, 4 weeks. He's okay with, us taking our time. I just want to see if it works. If it doesn't work, then it's no use to, have it. I use apps a lot. I don't, I use Facebook less and less every day, but,
Remember the other day at staff, you were questioning the info that you had gotten from him and you were going to get back. What was that up about? And he told you something and then it wasn't right, what was written down or something.
I know we had to get the costing out. I didn't understand the costing. That was the big thing I remember. I don't know. There might have been something about how to post, but we've worked that all out. We've been posting on it, so we've done all that.
The cost is driven by the number of users that subscribe times. And once you reach a certain threshold, that puts you in a different price per month tier. And then how many times you push out, you're allowed so many messages within each specific tier. The notifications. That's a push. Similar to when you got mail on your phone and you get a notice.
Just need one new term at a time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is it.
When your phone beeps at you and says you got a notice, that's a notification.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see if we can put together a test, get our agreement signed, and then you will get an email. And what should work is open that email on your phone, and then you hit that, what do we call it? The link, and then it should just, it should just put your app right on your phone. But we'll have, I know, we'll have instructions, don't worry, okay? And that'll be part of it too, how easy it is to get on. I'd be interested in knowing that as well. Okay? Okay. Thank you.
Item 7 on study session is a recycling center cost overview. And basically, Rodney's going to give just some information on the cost of the recycling materials themselves. The market's been changing. We've talked about that, I think, in the past a little bit, how the market has went down, if you will, for recyclable materials. And so we've got last year's data and this year's to date, and we wanted to share that with you. In your packet was a memo with the cost overview. As Jim or the mayor, I can't remember who said it, we were extremely busy today on our first day back. It's an important and a very popular facility for Jackson residents and non-residents alike. So we're glad to be open again. As you know, our center accepts cardboard, newspaper, magazines, office paper, junk mail, all kinds of glass, number 1 and 2 plastics, aluminum, tin, steel cans, electronic waste, appliances, and scrap steel. This has been available, as I said, for use by Jackson residents and non-residents alike. And there is no service charge for dropping off materials at the facility. We estimate that roughly half the materials entering the building are from non-residents of Jackson. That's just a guess. We don't have hard and fast numbers on that, but that's our experience. There are 4 basic streams of recycling down there at that facility. Your first is your traditional recycling that I just kind of rolled off: your cardboard, your newspaper, your glass, your plastics. Those are your traditional recycling, and we have a contract with CWI Republic to come and pick that up for us. There's also a metal stream. The scrap steel and metal is taken to a couple of companies in Cape, and we receive some revenue from that. There's an electronics stream, which we're under contract with Midwest Recycling Center, who also not only comes and picks that up routinely, but we have our e-cycle day, annual e-cycle day in June, which they host for us. And then finally, there's the glass
stream, we have a contract with Ripple Glass out of Kansas City. There's currently no charge for that. So that's a wash. They'll come and pick it up and they recycle it and they sell it to folks. So right now that's a no cost stream for us right now.
No revenue either.
No revenue, no cost. Yeah, correct. Thanks, Jim. However, well, I should say before 2019, the recycling economy was strong, it was stable, and it was profitable. We were making a profit at the center. However, the recycling market crashed in early 2019, about the end of the first quarter. We were making money right up through March, and then you probably remember reading all the news about the recycling collapse. So unfortunately, since then we've taken a hit and we've lost some money in handling recycling. For example, we lost for the entire year 2019, we lost $3,650 just in handling recycling, and that doesn't include our labor and equipment costs to run the facility. This year, the downward spiral continues. For the first 3 months, we're operating at a deficit of $550. So the market's not rebounding. Don't know if it'll rebound. We hope it will. We haven't made any changes except for you remember last year about this time we eliminated plastics 3 through 7. That's helped us a little bit. We only accept 1 and 2 plastics now, and we are making a little bit of profit off that. I won't get into the tables, but you'll see that the net savings and the cost of handling recyclables for the year 2019 and through the first quarter of 2020 is in there. And we also broke out specific tables for metals and electronics recycling, those streams. And again, all these numbers don't reflect labor and equipment costs. Not looking for any action tonight, just thought it was noteworthy to bring this to your attention. It's important for you to know what's happening down there and what's going on with the economy. There's been some recent changes. So
Aren't we overlooking the cost of the transfer station if we put it into the mainstream of trash pickup?
yes, if we were to put these materials, instead of going to these 3 or 4 companies and putting them in the landfill through the Jackson transfer station, we would be paying even more money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But the thing that's hard to quantify is a percentage, half, whatever the number is.
Whether it's county or city?
It's county, it's non-city, so we don't know, you don't get any value, you're not deferring any costs there, you're just incurring costs. You wouldn't have went there by a normal pickup, right?
Jim, I was down there today and they're asking if you're from the city or county.
Yeah, we're doing a little informal survey now. Yeah. It's on the honor system though, so when we come up and say,
yeah,
are you from the county or city, they automatically get defensive, and we're not sure if we're not what kind of data we're getting. Yeah, because we're not verifying it with show me your utility bill or your driver's license or anything like that. But we thought we'd try to quantify this a little bit better than just our guesstimate of 50%.
Yeah, Jim's exactly right. It's a double-edged sword. When the economy was strong and we were making money from county residents, then that's great. But when the economy, recycling economy,
did the recycle market put up
last year?
Chinese was taking plastic primarily.
Okay.
And plastic is the bottom fell out of the plastic market primarily for that reason. But I can't tell you why, but now cardboard is a loser. I don't know if it's because Amazon has flooded the economy with cardboard boxes for their home deliveries. I don't know. But we used to always make money on cardboard, and now we have to pay to get rid of cardboard.
Well, if Amazon flooded the market with cardboard boxes, you would have more cardboard to recycle.
and they would have a more of a need for cardboard.
I think they flooded the market with cardboard, which has driven the price of cardboard down for recycling.
Run,
Okay,
you done it.
a little bit, go ahead.
I beg to differ with you on a few things that you stated there. You said at the offset that the recycling center was there for the citizens of Jackson and the county. To my knowledge, it never has been anyone except the city of Jackson. We just have not enforced the county residents dumping there. Is that true?
That's true.
The other day at a staff meeting, you were talking about, you've done some refiguring here, you messed me up. $1,500, what you stated the other day, was what the recycling center was losing, not counting the e-cycle or labor. Is that what you said the other day?
I don't recall, Larry. I don't recall that discussion.
And then the recycle, or the e-cycle was the villain, and that was $3,300, if I remember correctly.
Right.
So.
Yep.
33, 35.
Yep.
Yeah. He say $1,500 the other day? I don't recall that.
That's what's illustrated on the table, 2019 monthly recyclables. That's the typical stuff inside the building, the plastics, the newspaper, that kind of material.
Yeah. So my thought was, and I'm glad they're asking, even the recycling and cardboard people, but I mean, $1,500 a year is nothing to me. There are people, citizens of Jackson, are grateful to have a place to take their, what they think is recycling. What I suggested the other day was to do some, just some kind of double checking on the residents for the e-cycle. Because you can dang sure bet it's 50% plus probably of what that is. And that was my contention there. I think that, and maybe the times we're going through right now will be the 2 to 4 upside the head to tell people it should not be a throwaway society. And perhaps the recycling, I hope that it would come back, at least some of it, with the experience we're going through right now. And I think it is a service that is well served to the citizens of Jackson with the minute amount that it's costing us, and we need to tighten our belt on the e-cycle as far as the county goes.
I think what I expected and hoped that Rodney's data would present to the board is just a snapshot that since last year, about mid last year through the first quarter of this year, is that unfortunately the city of Jackson is paying some cost for county residents to get rid of their waste. Is it a big amount of money? No, not in the grand scheme of things, but I thought that it was time that at least the board was aware of the trend, how the trend was going.
I appreciate that.
But if it turns around, you want their waste.
Absolutely.
They've been living off their waste for a number of years.
You know, we made money on their aluminum cans, which we probably still make money on that stream. But we made money on newspaper, we made money on cardboard or whatever. It was great, great on.
And that was something else. I never was aware that the recycling was making money. I thought at the best point, we were breaking even.
I think it depends on how you look at it. It probably never made a lot of money. The numbers were positive that were showing that are turned negative with the material itself. I think when you factored in the labor, it probably never was. A private business probably would never operate such an operation.
That is some grants.
Yeah, some grants. And again, we've spoken to this in the past. There's some value a lot of value, about $42 a ton value. And what we take out of the waste stream, our waste stream that goes to the tipping station and ultimately to the landfill, no question, there's value in that. And I'm just saying, just remember that there's another waste stream that's offsetting some of that now, and it's coming from outside the city. That's all. We'll keep watching it and keep you advised, but just wanted to let you know things kind of turn. We'll see what it does.
Yeah, we gotta stay up with that.
Thanks, Ron. Thank you. Mayor, that's all I have for a study session.
Is that into the Sunday session? I would. Entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Cunningham,
All right.
Baker,
Aye.
Leininger, Wiley, Kimball.
Aye.
Stainer.
Aye.
Young.
Aye.
We are adjourned for 5 minutes and then we'll start our executive session.